Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm Reyna, and I'm anxious. I'm also spiritual and deeply committed to my growth and well-being as a person. And so today we're talking about a few simple and maybe really obvious practices that I do pretty much every day that help me approach the day with calm and contentment from within. Thank you so much for being here. So one of the things that I try to do every morning is do a daily pull. The deck I use, it's from Mystic Mondays. I really like this deck. I also do a pull from Pema Chodron's compassion cards. As someone with a lot of anxiety, I really like doing daily pulls because I feel like it gives me information on my day, whether it does or whether it doesn't. It gives me some kind of comfort. And I was one of these people for a really long time that like tarot is kind of intimidating or like hard to understand. And I think there are so many people out there who really like know so much about it and they understand it so much. And I'm not one of those people. I just wanted to show you like what I very, very simply do. I also have, it's fine. So I also have this deck, which I got when I was, I think 13. And so it's very old. Very well worn. I don't use it as much anymore, but I think maybe if I keep it out, I'll like start using it. My deck. I just have a candle here. This is lavender that I picked. And I cleanse my deck a little bit. Whew. Try not to burn it. And then once that's done, I'm gonna give these a shuffle. And while I shuffle, I always ask the question, what's the energy for today? What am I working with? Knowing that nothing is bad or good. It's just kind of, that's what it is for the day. I'm not a good shuffler. I used to be, it's just because my nails are long now. Cool. The moon reversed. First thing I do is I just take a moment and I look at the card. Like maybe you know all the cards and like what the different things mean kind of as soon as you see it, but I'm not quite there yet. And so I like to look at the card. I mean, this card looks very balanced, but it also looks like decision making. It looks like maybe dealing with shadow self and like the duality reversed. I feel like maybe I'm more so the moon and not so much the person. I feel very calmed by this card. And the thing I'll do is, oops, I put it all in upside down. Crud buckets. I swear I've never done that before. I literally only did it because you're watching. Put it right back on my little shelf. Go to Biddy Tarot. I'll link it in the description. And then I usually take just like a quick scan of what it has to say because like not every meaning is gonna necessarily resonate with me. And so I like to kind of look through first. This is a pretty short one. So when the moon shows up, it indicates that maybe you've been dealing with like delusion, fears, and anxiety. And now like the negativity is kind of subsiding and I'm like working through it. And then it's like liberating and kind of being free from limiting beliefs. I have been dealing with a lot of those things, especially with work, just like negative fears and anxiety and just like, yeah, a lot of my like limiting beliefs have been present and have been kind of like poked recently. But I just think it's interesting and I like to see how like things play out or how things unfold or how I kind of choose. I just put it up here and then I'll pull my compassion card. As I'm shuffling these, I like to think, okay, where can I bring more compassion into my life? And then I pick one. Don't make gods into demons. Don't use these teachings and practices to strengthen your self-absorption. I feel like they have to figure them out and like interpret them. When I read this, I, initially think like so often when people start doing like spiritual work or whatever it is, when they start taking steps to expand themselves or better themselves, it's very easy to feel morally superior in a lot of ways. If you have the keys to something that people don't even know a door exists to. And I think it is counterintuitive and counterproductive to the teachings. And so as we do the self-work, and I think if you're here with me, then you may be on these paths and like interested in these just like deeper internal dialogues and such. As we do this work, like, can we do so? Can we expand ourselves without inflating ourselves? Can we still operate from a place of self-compassion and a place of outward compassion so that these teachings are actually potent, so that they're actually actionable, and so that we are embodying them and not just intellectualizing them. And as soon as we over-intellectualize something, it becomes inaccessible to a lot of people. Most people are capable of higher levels of thought than they're currently operating at, but that doesn't mean that they have the time to do so. It doesn't mean they have the capacity in their lives to do so. Tons and tons of like really earthly responsibilities, money, systemic oppressions, all of these things. It's like, how the hell is anyone supposed to self-actualize? And I like this card a lot. It came with this little stand, which I think is really cute. And that's my vibe for the day. And I just feel like, that was nice. I feel nice. So something else that I really love, and I know it sounds, no, actually, I don't think it sounds weird, is smoke and fire and burning things. I think a lot of people like this stuff. It's why incense and candles and like smudging or smoke cleansing is so popular. And I really love burning things. And I think it's why I smoked cigarettes for a little while. Cigarettes gave me like this really specific calm feeling that I feel like I get from being around a lot of smoke now. Burning, smoke cleansing, incenses, all that type of stuff. It's one of those things that exists in like many cultures. And I think in North America, the United States, we as a people have taken so much from the indigenous populations here that their healing practices were just like one more thing to take. Things got overused, things were disrespected. Don't use white sage, don't use this, don't use that, which I totally agree with. But people, instead of reaching down their own ancestral lineages and saying, okay, what do my people do? What is potent within my line? They just kind of like pushed back and were like, well, I want to use it. I think taking a little time, and I'll include an article below that's just about like smoke cleansing around the world to see what was used. What did your people use? I'm Puerto Rican. I'm also Jewish. For example, in the Caribbean, a lot of tobacco was used, like sacred tobacco, which I think is really interesting. Like the UK, like Scottish and Celtic cultures, I believe, they use things like rosemary and lavender. So I bought this smoke cleansing stick from the Flower Child Bruja. Not sage, it's got like marigold, it's just got all these other things in it, but there's so many ethical small businesses that you can buy like handmade cleansing sticks from that don't have white sage. They're not using over harvested materials. They're often hand bound, hand dried. And I just think it's really powerful and really potent. And so if you like smoke, if it's something that helps you feel calm and centered like it does for me, take the time, do the research, and charge your ancestral lineage. And it doesn't mean that you can't necessarily like use things from other cultures, but I just think there's so much power in using things that are in our heritage. And if you are using things from other cultures, just like really doing so like with respect that comes with how you use things, but also where you source things from. For a long time, I would get my dog Champa from like Whole Foods or Amazon, Found an Indian market near me, and I live in Boise, Idaho, and there's an Indian market here. So like chances are I'm sure you could find like an online version if there isn't one near you. But I got this huge box of nog. Something as simple as smoke, smells, burning things, I find really relieving, really releasing, really relaxing. I think I get even more out of it when I do it in a way that is respectful to the cultures that I am borrowing from, and also curious about my own culture and implementing practices from my culture. And so that's kind of my biggest thing. It's like I just invite you to like take some time and do the same and just see what interesting facts and practices you can find from your line. Hi, sweet baby. Don't know if this lighting or all the changing is distracting. You can let me know. But anyway, I think the last thing that I've been doing daily that has really helped me get like a read on the day as a person with like a ton of anxiety is checking my astrology app. I use the Chani app and I love it. Every day there's a new reading. It's like a short little reading. It tells you what the moon phase is, what sign it's in. I don't really know all about that, but I think what I especially like about it is there's the This Week Ahead. Chani does the This Week Ahead podcast, which you can also listen to on Spotify, and I listen to that every Sunday or Monday, just depending. And the app is free. I pay a subscription, like a monthly subscription, so that I can get like the more personalized things, because I get a personalized reading. I really love it. I've always loved Chani Nicholas. Like, I've been reading my horoscope, my weekly horoscope from her for like a decade. Love the way Chani writes. She writes in this like affirmative, optimistic way that gives me a lot of hope, and it always has. She just writes in a way that really resonates with me. And she also does affirmations of the week. And so just as an example, this week's affirmation: every living thing comes into being with a plan for its unfolding. I am no different. I let this intelligence guide me, protect me, and encourage me forward. Embedded in my DNA are the tools, talents, and abilities that I need for my journey. Like, are you serious? That's beautiful. I'm gonna screenshot it. I just love this app so much. It's so fun. It feels like an exploration into me, into myself. The free version of the app is great if you don't want to pay or you can't afford to pay. It's really great. I had the free version for months, and then I finally just started paying the subscription fee because I was using it every single day. And like with anything and everything, I try to approach things practically and simply. And so like, are the 3 things that I shared in this video revolutionary? Literally no. There's probably millions of videos on it, but that's okay. I think more than anything, I just hope that maybe this re-inspires you to pick up your tarot deck, to download an app, to light a candle, and more than anything, invite you to take time to be curious about yourself and to inquire within, even if you're a highly anxious person like myself. I find the more curious I am and the more little things I do to help kind of forecast my day, my week, my month, my year, whatever it is, without hyper fixating and diving in like a really intense way. These little things that give me ease and insight have been so helpful for my consistent, sustainable, and long-term well-being, in my opinion. And so I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video, for spending a little time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.